Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is John with Tommy's Top Picks here to bring you your weekly flesh and blood market update. It is a bit of a bloodbath. We kind of expected this. It's taken a little longer to hit than said. Although we did talk about it, I think it was the last weekly update, maybe the weekly before that, about the student loans coming due and the things that will have an impact on this particular market. It looks like that day is coming. I know student loan interest picked up again, so I imagine people are feeling the pressure from the interest accruing again. I did look into it after the last conversation point on this, and I don't think the payments are actually required. But if you have interest accruing, make the payments. Like, be responsible, do the thing you have to do. That's the way to go. It will have an impact on things like the TCG market, but it's just reality, and you have to face that sort of stuff. Letting interest accrue, even though you don't have to make payments, is a good way to get yourself into a real hole. So be responsible. Do the things you need to do to pay off your debts. Obviously, debts first, credit cards first, super first, because their interest rates are too high. But then student loan debt and things like that. Variables, and no financial advice here, but if you have variable interest rate and you can consolidate into a fixed, it's probably a little late to do that because interest rates are high right now. But it might be better than dealing with a potential increase in interest rates. I will say the latest news from the Fed is that the economy is still growing quite well. I think it's 5% or something like that is their estimate. It's early. They do the revisions and stuff, so don't take that as completely calculated or whatever, but it's their preview rate of growth, which does seem like they will continue with the interest rate pressure. Now, what that means is based on other factors that are happening, including employment issues starting to pop up and things like that. It seems like they're willing to sit still, not go further, not come down. Apparently, there was some discussion at one of the Fed meetings, and I didn't hear this, so take this with a big grain of salt because I may have misread or heard wrong. But when this was discussed at the Fed meeting, I missed it. But the idea was that they would cut rates in 2024. I don't think they're going to cut rates. It makes no sense. They haven't hit any of the targets that they are supposed to hit, and therefore cutting rates at this point makes no sense unless part of that rate cut prediction was that there would be a kind of a flash crash situation, which would then allow them to cut rates without it being a problem. I know they've been trying to trigger a flash crash, but they have had a really hard time with it. Apparently, savings are running out this month or so based on their data. So a lot of families will then, be out of money and have to resort to other means and other things happening, which of course slows down demand, which of course slows down companies, which of course leads to unemployment. Again, how these things trickle through the system and the reaction to it all is pretty slow. So you have to take that all with a grain of salt as far as the timing goes. This is the trickier part, and even the best at the Fed can't really predict it well. So, anyways, let's get back into TCG markets because that's why you're all here. But it does all play into this, and we did see this coming a little bit. We spoke about this student loan thing resuming in September. I'm not sure I even had the date at the time. I think I might have thought it was October, but we knew that was going to be an impact, and it looks like that impact is here. So jumping into the boxes, unlimited boxes are down of Monarch are down 8.47% to $54 from $59. Not a huge decline, but again, we're starting to go lower, and we're feeling the pressure. You can see we didn't have any highs, just low, low, low. And now we're settling there. We'll see if this continues to accelerate to hit some floor and bounce off of it, or if it cools off. We are in range from the last few months, so it's not like it's in a crazy low spot. It's actually higher than the last few months low, but it's definitely creeping towards the bottom of that channel. Tales of Aria down 9.68% to $56. Tales has always been all over the place, and this is nothing new. This is just right in its channel. It's been at this price a lot of times in the last 3 months, and nothing special here. ARK down 5.58% to 440. This is the ARK Unlimited case. Sorry about that. Moved into the cases from 466. 440, I think, is a low for this recently. I don't think we've seen that in a while. We can skim back a little bit. I think I'm going to extend the charts too because I find myself looking at older data. Yeah, it was all the way back at October. Maybe not. Maybe it was end of year last year. Like, wait, was it? Yeah, December-ish. Yeah, around December, November, December. Um, I think I'm going to extend the chart so that we can see these patterns develop over a longer time frame. It's kind of a pain in the butt because you have to manually correct and fix all these different little things to make it work, but it will be worth it for the visualization on the patterns that we're now looking at because we're looking at longer term trends and longer term support regions. Before it didn't matter, localization was enough. Now it's starting to matter, so we'll take a look at that. WTR negative 6.06% down to 3,100 from 3,300. This is one of those areas we were talking about last week. We wanted to basically keep an eye on this because this is below this previous low, this 3,200 kind of area. I would say there's still room to drop. If you recall, we had some areas where it was under 2,000. Let's see if we can find it. There we go. Or under 3,000, I meant. Sorry. Here was the low for that time frame, and then further back, I thought there was something down in the low 2000s. No, I think that is it. It's the high 2000s is the lowest I have on record. We are approaching that area, so worth keeping an eye on. There will probably be a bounce somewhere there, question mark. That's the question of the big macroeconomic impact on this market. If it doesn't bounce there, then you know there's a larger macro impact that is impacting the investor type people that would be picking up discounted WTR first edition boxes. Negative 6.86% down to 95 on Mon first edition box from 102. I don't really see that as a big deal. This was a spike around D2D, D2D. It's low, but it's not like anything crazy or outside of pattern. It's still in the mid range of its past 6 months. Tales of Aria down 7.69% to $60 from $65. Actually, on the Mon thing, if you do want cold foils, you might be getting a discount box here pretty soon because it is 6 months ago that this happened. But I mean, let's see. Let's just go back real quick. Yeah, February was the last time we saw this. So. Even more than 6 months ago. So yeah, that's a good deal if you've been waiting for Mon and you want some cold foils and stuff. But honestly, buy singles if you want the cold foils. They're probably depressed too. Tales of Aria down 7.69% to 60 from 65. I believe this is in range. It might be a little low for Tales, but that's Tales does weird things. It is low for Tales. Look at that. Look at that. Discount on Tails. Grab your Tails while you need it. Now that Ice is about to completely go LL, I assume Lexi is going to take over the meta, and I assume Icelander is going to catch enough points to get out. So it feels like Ice is about to leave the meta in full, call it next 6 months or so. But that means these are going to be depressed in price because people won't want the cards as much. People will sell their selections of cards, etc. So that is something to think about if you're trying to collect some of the old school Tales stuff. Mon cases, first edition cases, down 8.7% to 420 from 460. I don't think they chose that price. I think that's Wish shipping, so you can laugh at it if you want, but it's just random coincidence, or maybe not. Actually, some people do select the shipping with that in mind. Yeah, we've seen lower. It's nothing special there. That's fine. Let's keep an eye on anything else that was doing the crazy little leak down. That ARC Unlimited box is down to 116. We noted at 119 it was pretty low. It continues to leak down. Again, probably worth watching because those do seem to be pretty low in stock. And nothing else of note. Just double checking some of these. Yeah, nothing else too noteworthy here. I do have some cards this week. Yay, TCG player not having maintenance. Let's jump in. I pulled this one up, Icelander Marvel. This has held up extremely well for a long time, and it is finally capitulating. It's not like a huge capitulation. I think its high was 102, but it felt like it really stuck in this like 90 to 100 range for a serious period of time. Let's just see. I guess on the chart, it's just been a decline, but I don't know. I don't trust these charts. I know I've kept an eye on it, and it's always been around 100, 80 to 100, more like 90 to 100, maybe 85 kind of range. It looks like it's finally starting to slip below that with sales and listings at 80 that are not getting bought. So if you're looking for the Marvel, now this is the young hero, but I think it's the only Iyslander Marvel out there. It's starting to become seasonable. Seasonable. It's starting to come into season, so you can grab it and have your beautiful art while she's still legal and perhaps into the LL. Think I think she was a token in one set, therefore you can use this as your hero even if it's an adult. I'm not sure. Someone check the rules. Leave a comment below. Are you allowed to use this as an adult version, like flip this way so it's beautiful, as an adult version for a tournament, or does it actually have to be the adult version? No, because the token one, oh, I don't even know if it was a token because it was in Everfest. So maybe she's never been a token, in which case I think you have to have the right card because it's only the tokens that you can kind of like sub in. I don't know what the rules are for sure, but I think that's a factor. You know what? I never noticed all these little critters in the background. You see that? She got like little deer and wolves and stuff. I never noticed that. I love this card. It's beautiful. I have it in person. I've never noticed the freaking wolves and stuff. Anyways, moving on to the other collectibles I like to look at. Nazareth, which is this one's Marvel. You can see it's flatlining and still drifting down. Keep an eye on this, I think, as things kind of progress, assuming we don't see this as a huge factor in decks, which it doesn't appear to be at this stage. Meta is shifting, so it could be going into the next meta, but it doesn't appear to be at this stage. So this will probably continue to decline and be a Marvel that's beautiful and rare. So it might be worth grabbing that in the next coming months, because we are about to get into bright light season. You know, when the new hype comes, the old hype kind of dies off. You give it a little bit more time, and then you usually get your best deal. So any of these Marvels from this last set, as bright lights hype maximizes and release happens, will be kind of in a good buying place. This one was particularly interesting. I don't think we've seen Blood Rot below 100 before, and it's sitting there listed below 100 and no one's buying it. People were buying it 4 days ago for 105. So it's now, no one cares, I guess. I don't know. Maybe people are just not buying cards right now. It's possible. It's still the doldrums, and we don't have like competitive stuff coming up. But this is a collectible. That's why I wanted to point these out. This one I thought, same thing. Crouching Tiger. This did jump on the release of the Tolarian College deck. That basically showed that there's new Tiger cards coming. Tommy and I talked about that quite extensively in the podcast. A little bit of concern around some fresh cards that are only available in that product that open up the Tiger meta, if that's a thing. But regardless, the news jumped this card up a little bit. I imagine it will settle down unless that meta is just completely busted and useful and you have to do it, in which case people will be buying the Tolarian College like case thing for like one card because it's a Majestic, so it's probably only one in that Ira deck. I really hope that's not the case and not what happens, but we will have to see. There are special slots in the Bright Light set where they could also put those cards, and I hope they do that, but I don't know if they will. All right, let's go back to the charts. As I said, I'm going to extend these because we're at a point where we really want to see the other side of this curve, the rise. That's why I keep skimming back through the previous data, trying to figure out where that fits and how the patterns fit. And, you know, we can visualize that, but I have to extend the way this works quite a bit. And it's going to be a pain in the butt, actually, to make it bigger. I have to move these data points every time. I have to move them over for the chart to update. And it's already really long, and it's going to be a pain. It's going to be a pain. It's fine. I'll figure out how to do it. Nothing too remarkable in any of these. This is where we saw ARC falling off, so worth keeping an eye on this. We do have an ARB opportunity of $6. Not worth it for ARC Unlimited. Cruise holding up, moving sideways. Mon. Yeah, this one, premium's still intact and it's fallen off on the box level, but cases are holding still. We'll see if that follows over time, which it does if it's a real market correction. Tales of Aria doing weird things as always. So it actually looks like it's getting back in alignment. So that drop was actually more getting back into range where it had been. So nothing really crazy there. Tales is always so hard to tell what the heck is going on just by looking at the data. Most of these I can like eyeball and visualize what it is. Tales is so crazy that I have a hard time like mentally tracking all the dips and dives and stuff. So WTR, not much there other than continuing decline. Again, historically, I like to see it flip up a little bit, but I'm imagining flip up is going to be right around here. Maybe it gets below 3,000 and then slowly comes back or kicks back up to 31, 32, 33, 35 sometimes. Just not a lot of supply, so that's the kind of thing that happens there. I'm not desperate. I have my WTR box on the shelf in a was it the bear cases or whatever? Love those things. Moving to ARK, really, really low per box price. We have seen it lower before, even in this chart, so extending it really is not going to tell us much more, but I do want to do that. 1878 is pretty low. Crew is definitely corrected from that bubble. Okay, we're now back at the same price we were before. Decline, flatline, and then jump like crazy. I still want to know what that's about. I have no idea. If you guys have any clue why this jumped so high so fast, let me know. It was real. It wasn't just an anomaly because this is slow decline back to it. But that's, yeah, reversion to the mean. Wow, what a move. I don't understand it. We'll have to see what happens next. That was a surprise one, and definitely an overkill based on the price action since then. Mon dropping to that 420 mark, and yeah, premiums falling along. This makes me feel like it's actually a market situation. There's just not that much demand, which does make sense if there's dusk till dawn, high speed, high velocity. So a lot of stuff gets listed, and then it kind of slowly decays as people are like, crap, I'm trying to get rid of it, and it's too late. Moving on to tails, and this is just low. It looks like there's no premium on that. Okay, weird. It rarely happens, but they're exactly correct. Everfest got a little bit of a premium, just sitting flat and moving sideways. And Uprising got the same premium as always. A little bit of a dip down, actually a little tighter than before the bans. Dynasty, yeah, it's interesting. These 2.0s. It's almost always an ARB opportunity. I'm really curious to see Uprising, Dynasty. See, it's not worth doing the ARB, but the fact that the case premium isn't there is a feature of 2.0 that we see pretty consistently as they age. And I'm wondering how long. It's not holding with outsiders, but this is true for Dynasty and Uprising in the beginning. They have a lot of crossover, and then it settles with the premium being below, therefore an ARB opportunity. So basically the case is a discount to the boxes. Not enough to make it make sense from spending money to ship and all that other stuff, but enough for it to be reasonable. It's almost like a non-premium product where the sealed isn't actually held at high regard in a case format for this versus the individual box. And I don't understand why, because the sealed cases are a better product. You are going to get more likely of a hit and things like that. So that should at some point correct, but I'm guessing it's a supply-based issue, i.e. there's enough supply that it's not seen as that. It's not a lottery ticket until the supply dries up. Then it becomes a lottery ticket. And that probably makes sense because it's probably based around the singles you could pull, like the highest pull rate. So as cards are in play and very common, the highest pull rate ones aren't going to be that big of a hit, so therefore over averages it might make sense. I don't know. It's a little weird though. It definitely doesn't fit most TCG patterns. Same thing is developing here with DDD. So anyways, that's our market update. A little longer than I expected. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if there's anything I'm missing, or maybe you have some opinions on the student loan thing, or you have a feeling about what's happening in the general market. I will say I don't think it's dying at all. I still sell Fab cards on a regular basis from the shop. I will say Magic cards are selling more right now. I think the meta shift in, I guess, the new set, Eldraine or whatever, made old cards interesting again or something. I don't really fully get it, but basically Magic cards are selling, Fab cards are selling less, still selling though. So I still think it's a very viable market and is working well. It's just one of those things where, it's a dry spell, and we'll see how it goes over the long term. Anyways, hope you're out there cracking packs, playing games, and enjoying this hobby that we love. Until next time, have a good one.